The younger you are, the cheaper these policies are going to be. Yes, you're going to be paying them for longer. With all insurance products, you only know that you've made the right decision when it actually happens or something bad happens.
At what point do you think you should consider this is the question that you should probably ask yourself.
When you start having kids and buying properties, you should absolutely get a will in place. Jack and I have been back and forth this week talking about various insurances, protections for us as company owners, as well individuals as well as property investors, owning property in our own names, owning property within companies, running various businesses. What do people have? I'd be interested to know in the comments below. And this was sparked because we realized that as things are growing, if Jack or I get ill or something happens or there's a life-changing event, what are we actually covered by? What happens in that process? And I've listed a couple of things that we've been talking about. So we've been talking about wills. Certainly when you start having kids and buying properties, you should absolutely get a will in place. There are various ways you can use trusts to hold things more securely and safely that is maybe outside of your estate. So from an inheritance tax perspective, you can use trusts very cleverly there. We talked about life insurance, critical illness, income protection, keyman insurance, and private medical insurance. And Jack and I basically discussed and finalized that we would move forward with some income protection in case unfortunate events happen, that we've got a fixed monthly income coming in to kind of cover our spouses and mortgage lifestyle over that time period where you're trying to kind of figure things out. Jack, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, at what point do you think you should consider this is the question that you should probably ask yourself. At that point, don't necessarily worry too much about putting everything in place until you feel that's necessary. And then when you do feel that's necessary, lean on some consultants or someone like a Cash podcast. I feel the time that it's probably necessary to think about is when you don't have any other income and you're running a business as a self-employed business owner. To some degree, you're taking the risk of the business and pushing the business forward. And when you're taking that step out, think about when does this need to come into play. There's some things on there like income protection where you have to share your self-assessment tax returns from the last 2 years to show the income that you can then potentially draw. So it's just thinking about when do these things come into play and then what sort of cover you would like, which is completely bespoke to you. So not two people are the same. You may want some more heavier critical illness patterns in place because you've got hereditary family issues with X, Y, and Z. I haven't even got a will in place. So in theory, you think this date, but in reality is another thing.
With all insurance products, you only know that you've made the right decision when it actually happens or something bad happens. The one thing I would say is that the younger you are, the cheaper these policies are going to be. Yes, you're going to be paying them for longer. I've been paying for when I bought my first buy-to-let property. I've got life insurance that covers the sum of the debt. So if something bad happens, the life insurance will cover the mortgage and pay off the mortgage so that my wife, my family, kind of who it's left to, doesn't have to worry about facilitating that or dealing with the ramifications of it. I've paid £15 a month or something for the last however many years to cover that. Like Jack says, there's a lot of these expenses that do go down as business expenses and can be covered by your company. To seek specialist tax advice from your tax advisor. But there are so many products out there, it is very difficult to get your head around exactly what one you need. And Akash from the Ultimate FD podcast did a really good job of sort of explaining a lot of those. That's obviously his business, so do reach out to him if you want to have a private conversation about your own circumstances.